Hey everybody, it's Party Elite. Welcome back to another episode of our Planet Zoo franchise mode Let's Play. We're going to dive right back into Elite Zoo South. I am thoroughly excited for this episode, not only because we're going to be adding a new animal, and I'm sure the thumbnail or the title has given it away already, but not only because we're adding a new animal, but also because, again, there's been a bit of a break between episodes, as I'm sure many of you have been able to tell. So it's just got that extra sort of excitement and momentum going into this episode because we've been away from Planet Zoo for so long. It's just, just all that more excited to dive in and make some progress over here. And honestly, I've been really happy with the progress we've been making for the last handful of sessions. We've come a long way very quickly. I feel like the momentum has picked up quite a bit. I feel like ideas are a bit more kind of, for myself personally at least, ideas have been coming a bit more quickly and a bit more fluidly and a bit more, I guess, consistently. And it's, again, just kind of like picking up the pace, and that's always been exciting. So very happy to keep that momentum going and very excited to see where we go next. I've got some plans for the hyenas. I received a lot of suggestions. I did a lot of research as well. So I've got some plans for the hyenas, and then, moving forward from that, a lot of interesting stuff to do, ahead of us as well. So hopefully y'all are excited just as much as I am as well. And I just want to mention again, of course, there was, yes, a bit of a delay between this episode and the previous episode. I think we, so to speak, missed a couple of days, as it were. I want to clarify, as I've done before, again, I will always put out a tweet if there is a delay imminent. I make sure that anytime there's a delay coming up, on the day, it's not like I'll be like, hey, well, it depends, right? If I know that a handful of days will have some delays or whatnot, I'll note that. If it's a single day, like a one-off thing, I'll note that. But I try to stay as transparent as possible with regards to scheduling issues, whether something has to be pushed because of, I don't know, my health, fatigue, stress, migraines, I guess that falls under health, or just, other stuff has kept me busy or what have you. So I always stay transparent about that kind of stuff because I feel like that's very important. And I do understand that not everybody has a Twitter account. That is why I keep a link to my Twitter under the description of every video. That way, even if you don't have a Twitter account, you should be able to. I did a little bit of testing, and it looks like you should be able to see at least like the latest handful of tweets. So if an episode is ever missing and you go, what happened? If you pop on to my Twitter using that link, then you should be able to see an update and a bit of a sort of a news update or a heads up with regards to what's going on. And I understand that's not always what folks are looking for. Sometimes you just want an episode, but that's at least one way to make sure that you at least know what's going on. Because sometimes it's just a delay by a couple of hours because YouTube has messed up processing or something else entirely, right? But I do try to stay fully transparent with regards to that stuff. I do try to stay cognizant of the fact that, I like schedules. I'm a very schedule intense kind of a person. But obviously sometimes things will, stuff happens, as was the case this past week. A lot of exciting stuff happening on the channel that I had to kind of jump on. There were a lot of late nights, a couple of all-nighters as well between this week and last weekend, but it all kind of came together. And I just want to say that is, at the moment at least, now behind us, and so we should be back with our regular kind of schedule. We should be able to move forward with the usual time frame, the usual timeline that we approach not just Planet Zoo with, but everything. I mean, last week, or rather, I shouldn't say last week, but this past week, and a little bit of last week as well, was everything went out the window because there was some really exciting stuff that I wanted to cover, and it was some pretty intense stuff that I had to cover as well. Not had to, but wanted to cover, and so everything got shifted. Whether you were watching Planet Zoo or Workers and Resources or Bannerlord or literally anything else, even one of the streams got delayed. But yeah, it's not a thing that happens very often, but when it does, I do, yes, try to let people know right away. Anyways, enough of me rambling about that. I did just want to let y'all know what was going on. We're back on track, regular schedule. Moving forward, we're going to be adding, again, maintaining that same pace as we had previously with regards to adding more animals and beautifying spaces a bit more. I've received some comments about the wayfinding and stuff like that as well. We definitely want to get back on that and extend that a bit more as well when we get one of our future, passes coming up. So lots of exciting stuff up ahead of us. I want to mention again, and as always, if you've been enjoying the series, if you want to see it continue, please don't hesitate to keep letting me know by leaving a like and a comment down below. It really does make a very big difference, especially after a bit of a mini break. I know it sounds crazy. Oh, it's only been a week. Like, how much of a difference does it make? It makes a massive difference. Not only in letting me know that folks are still interested and haven't kind of like moved on or what have you. It just lets me know that I should keep doing something. I shouldn't stop. I shouldn't slow down. It also helps it helps YouTube know that folks are still watching something, because otherwise you're going to stop receiving updates from YouTube and stuff like that. So leaving a like and a comment makes a big difference, both for me and for yourself and for YouTube in that way. And of course, I do read through all of the comments, as you all very well know by now. So that's a very important and helpful and good way to have your opinion heard, have your voice heard, and have it reflected in our playthrough. These guys have a bit of an emergency going. Do we not have a washroom in the area? I guess the closest washroom is all the way at the end over here. Or isn't there one near the train station? Oh, I guess, you know what? I guess not. I guess the closest one is up over here. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, we'll need another washroom down over here, I think. We'll do that after our time lapse, which we'll be diving into very soon, actually. Oh man, look at this. This is awesome. Look at the crowd over here. That's pretty epic. This is being used properly and fully. Wow. That's really cool to see. Oh man, that's really cool to see. Sorry, right. So yeah, again, as I was saying, to get back on track there, opinions, thoughts, anecdotes, fun facts, whatever it might be. I enjoy reading through it all. It's always great to kind of also get an understanding of, again, what folks are enjoying or not enjoying, or your opinions on various questions that I might throw out there as well. It's all very helpful for me. I want to mention as well, of course, and as I sort of do at the beginning of every month, if you've been really, really, really enjoying this series, you might want to consider checking out my Patreon, or perhaps becoming a channel member. A link to both of those options are in the description down below. If you don't want to become a patron through Patreon, totally understandable, because it's a third-party service. Sometimes people don't want to deal with third-party services. You can become a channel member instead, like I was saying. That's directly through YouTube. A link to that is also in the description down below, or you can hit that giant join button that you see right underneath the video too. It's a great way to support the channel. It's a great way to support a series that you enjoy as well, because it really does help sustain, especially the longer term series over a long time frame. So that's always greatly appreciated, of course, but it is not an obligation. Don't feel any pressure or anything like that. It does help the channel a lot, and I do greatly appreciate it. But of course, not everyone can support in that way, and that's perfectly cool. I just want to make sure. Again, I always feel kind of awkward mentioning it, because I just want to make it crystal clear. It's not an obligation. Think of it like a Twitch sub. Think of it like a Netflix subscription, except content is still always free for everybody on the channel. Though the becoming a channel member or patron does include the fantastic perks of either becoming a named staff member or sponsoring some of the animals. Now, again, I want to clarify: you are not limited to one or the other. And even when it comes to sponsoring animals, you don't have to pick just one. You can pick multiples, but we'll do like one a month for everyone, just so we can kind of spread that love around. I have a lot of requests already for some folks that wanted to sponsor some of the dingoes and some of the the dingoes and the painted dogs as well. I think got a couple of requests, and we have some more requests for other animals we haven't done yet. But if you want to add your name for the new animals, or if you decided that you want to sponsor some of the old animals, feel free to do that. If you want to again join our fantastic staff and become one of the named staff members, just let me know what role you would like, and as long as we have like a role available for it, because vets are, for example, the rarest to get, but we did hire a couple new ones, or at least one new one I think recently. So just let me know, and we can start integrating that. I'm thinking the staff will get in next time, and then the sponsor boards we'll do in our next beauty pass, which should be not next time, but the time after that probably, because next time we'll be finishing off the hyena enclosure, I imagine. Again, if you're a channel member, you just have to leave a comment down below. I see a little icon next to your name if you're the member, so that just lets me know you're a member. If you're on Patreon, you should send me a private message instead, and that way I know who you are, and let me know either what name you want for the staff, which animal you want, what what name you want for the sponsor board with the animal, etc., and we'll get that going. Yeah, again, I don't think I'll ever get over the sponsor board idea when it was first, mentioned in the comments. Again, it came from the comments. I thought it was absolutely brilliant because it totally works as like an in-universe thing. It's so, I love it. But anyways, folks, like I said, let me know. Again, no obligation. It does really help the channel, but no, like, please don't feel pressured or anything like that. I get a lot of comments sometimes that are just like, oh, I feel bad that I can't, support in that way. Don't feel bad. Honestly, it's like I can't stress that enough. Yeah, please, just, yeah, it's important to me, that folks realize that it's not an obligation or anything like that. But yeah, leave a comment, shoot me a private message on Patreon, and we can get those sponsor boards and staff naming done. Now, the other thing I wanted to touch on actually was with regards to these likes and comments. There's a lot to kind of catch up on really quickly over here, folks. I hope y'all don't mind, but it's all relevant to what all of y'all have been saying in the comments and whatnot. I'd previously mentioned that I might do a tour episode 75. I saw a lot of support for that, but I also saw a lot of what's the opposite of support? Not support. I saw a lot of, I guess, dissenting opinions, I suppose is the way to put it. It just sounds very negative, dissenting opinions. It sounds like there's a problem, I saw, opposite opinions, I suppose, let's say. And again, like I say always, I listen to everyone's feedback. I try to get everyone's thoughts in so I can make a decision accordingly. Truth is, I didn't get enough opinions to kind of make an informed decision, if you will. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Basically, the justification for not doing a tour episode is that we kind of get a mini tour at the beginning of every episode. In fact, we've been kind of doing one this entire ramble, so it's kind of acted like a mini tour as we've taken a look around everything, kind of taken all the paths, taken a look at some of the issues as well. So, there is that. That's a good justification for not doing a tour episode. The difference, though, I would mention is that in a tour episode, we do, hit play, we let time move forward. This guy's pose is hilarious. We let time move forward. We spend more time with the animals, like looking at the animals and stuff, rather than just kind of moving around the space. So they are still a little bit different. But again, I take every opinion into account, so I'd love to hear more thoughts on that. If you have one, please share, leave a comment down below, and let me know how you feel about that. And I would say though, if you would like to be a staff member and also if you would like to take advantage of one of those perks that I mentioned earlier, and also share your opinion about tour versus no tour, I guess make them separate comments so it's easier for me to kind of like find both things later on, if it's not too much trouble, obviously. Anyway, enough of my rambling and ranting and raving. I believe I've covered all the bases with regards to everything I wanted to touch on. Again, I know it was a long intro, if you will. A lot of housekeeping as well, though. A lot of important housekeeping and stuff to just touch on, because I want to make sure, as we move forward, we're all on, I guess, the same page, as it were, about a variety of things, from pauses to content that happen rarely, but when they do happen, they happen, and to, the tour episode, to what have you. So, yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Let's actually get some progress going on over here. I'm sure... I'm very excited to get the hyenas in here, and I'm sure many of you are as well. Some very interesting little tidbits, actually, as we look at their info panel. So let's go ahead and pop open Zoopedia, take a look at the spotted hyena. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there's a spotted hyena and there's a striped hyena, but feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. During my research, I'm pretty sure, like just off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure I saw references to both. But here we have the spotted hyena. The Crocuta, the Crocuta? A funny name. They are of their own family, by the way, if I'm not mistaken. They're like entirely of their own family. But anyway, sorry. So they're the least concern, which is nice. Population wild is 27k to 47k. Nice. The spotted hyena, also known as the laughing hyena, Crocuta, is native to sub-Saharan Africa. They are generalist predators that can live in most environments, although they are not found in rainforests or deserts, and their strong forelimbs, well-muscled neck, and comparatively weaker hind limbs give them a distinctive appearance. Their head is broad with a wide snout, and they have sandy fur with black spots, as well as a mane down their neck, their mid-back. It is not an endangered species, although they are affected by habitat loss through human encroachment and also persecution by farmers attempting to protect their livestock. They are not vulnerable to trophy hunting as they are largely regarded as an unattractive animal, but they are poached for their body parts, which are used in traditional medicine. Oh, interesting, okay. They are protected when their range falls into the boundaries of a national park, and some African countries have legislation marking the spotted hyena as a protected species, but in other areas, they're regarded as vermin. Oh, that's very interesting. Now, there's a couple of interesting things to touch on there. So, for one, I guess our education boards over here are quite fitting, though I suppose why not go ahead and add one more and make it about the medicine. Where are we? Traditional medicine. There you go. I wish there were a couple of versions of these. Yeah, I've thought this every time I put down the traditional medicine one, because the pangolin is only relevant literally around the pangolin enclosure. But obviously the topic, I understand that that's a very common example of the issue, but the topic applies to so many other animals. It's just kind of, you know, I wish you could flip between A, B, C variants, and obviously not everything has to be covered, but it'd be nice to see a bit more variety there. That's not the biggest deal, obviously, but you know, one of those more is more situations, I suppose. Now, what's funny actually with regards to this second paragraph, especially about calling them like, you know, unattractive and whatnot, rude. This is why they laugh so much. They use humor to hide the pain of being called all these names. When I was looking up references or guidance, I suppose, or examples, folklore and things like that, a lot of the stories about hyenas are they're pretty sad. Like yeah, people talk a lot of smack about hyenas, and it's kind of like, yo, chill. There's like, I think there was one culture group among whom the hyena is regarded with some positivity. And it was like, I forget the details now, but you know, they were related to the sun and life and all that kind of stuff. But like largely, they're deemed sort of like lowly creatures and ugly and this, that, and the other thing. It's quite interesting, actually. They're like near universally loathed. And then it's funny to see it kind of like alluded to here as well. But their natural habitat, is, yes, sub-Saharan Africa. So everything below, well, almost everything, of course, below the Sahara, excluding the rainforests and things like that. But it's a massive tract of land over here. The grassland biome only, so we'll have to be a bit picky about their vegetation, I suppose. I do have some interesting plans. I have an interesting reference that I want to use. It'll add a bit more of a human touch to the space. It won't overdo it, but I think it'll work nicely with the grassland limitation. Now they require a lot of space, just like the other two animals we've added in the area. We have more than enough space for them, though, so we'll be okay. Apart from that, if we look at the species data over here, this is particularly interesting. Group size, excluding juveniles, is 2 to 4. Now, I have seen multiple comments with regards to how that is evidently inaccurate. And it's funny because they mention it here as well. Like, the game contradicts itself a little bit as well. So I'm curious as to how they will justify that. But I've seen quite a few comments about, like, why is it so small? Like, the other animals, again, the painted dog and the dingo all have relatively large group sizes. So why is the hyena getting the short end of the stick? So hopefully we'll find out. The bachelor sizes are the same, 2 to 4, 2 to 4. Dominance, and this is, I find, super fascinating. Matriarchal, nepotistic. I mean, I cannot think of any other, off the top of my head, I can't think of any other animal that is, like, well known that has this kind of dominant system, right? And if I'm wrong, which I might be, feel free to correct me. But I can't think of any other animal. Mating system, they are promiscuous. Relationship with humans is, well, they're confident. Guests, however, cannot enter the habitat because I don't think that confidence goes both ways, and it shouldn't either. Size, 30 inches tall at the shoulder for males, 34 for females. Life expectancy, 20 years across the board. Weight is 103 pounds for males, 120 for females. Sexual maturity at 3 years. Sterility at 12 years. Wow, so quite a bit of their lives are spent sterile. Interesting. 1 to 2 offspring per mating event. 4-month gestation period, 15-month interbirth period, and reproduction is very easy. Hyenas are social animals that live in clans of related females, immigrant males, and their cubs. They have a communal den, which as many as 90 spotted hyenas share for sleeping, mating, and giving birth. When individuals leave the den to hunt and roam, they spend this time alone or in small groups of 2 to 4. See, so it's like separating the roaming group size with the living group size, it feels like, and it's going with that roaming group size as opposed to the living group size. That's what it reads like to me. I feel like this must be an actual mistake, but the fix for it might not be an easy one, right? Like it might be like reprogramming the entire animal's behavior, its tolerance for population density and stuff like that. Like I feel like there's a reason why this wouldn't have been corrected. Either there's a reason, and either they're wrong and there's a reason they haven't corrected it, which goes, into that kind of technical layer, or we're all misunderstanding how hyena society actually works with regards to the size of a clan. Also, how cool is that? Clans. I always like the word clan. It's got power to it, clan. I don't know. I love it. In captivity, adults should be kept in compatible pairs and trios. I guess that's it. Although hyenas live in large groups in the wild, they live in a fission-fusion society where they do not spend all their time together and often roam alone or in small groups. They are an aggressive species, so large groups in an enclosed space could result in violent interactions. Oh, there it is. See, sometimes all you gotta do, party, is just keep reading. My bad. So there you go. So they are reflecting this. That's why it's 2 to 4 and not 90. Because evidently in captivity, which is what we're doing here, it's a zoo, and just because we give them all the space in the world doesn't mean it's not captivity. It's still captivity. In captivity, they have to be in these small groups because otherwise they're very violent. Fair. All right, I take back everything I said. It's not a mistake. It's entirely intentional. I saw those comments and I was like, oh, that's a good point, because that's makes sense. Why would they get this wrong? I guess it must have been a mistake. So again, I'm glad we sit down and read these things together now. It's definitely one of my favorite recent additions to the series is going through these. So yeah, there you go. That's why. There's the answer to the question that many of you have been asking, and that I've been asking as well, just internally after seeing you ask the question. So nice. I'm glad it all makes sense now. It's also interesting to see, like, obviously in captivity and not in captivity is a big difference, right? Just think of it for yourself, I guess. But it's just interesting to see it be so drastically different. Like there's a big difference between 90 and 2 to 4. A fission fusion society, by the way, again, if I have it right, doing this off the top of my head, so feel free to correct me if you know better. But a fission fusion society is it's a type of society that like changes either over time or over space. So depending on the kind of, or maybe even both, but depending on the kind of circumstances, like environmental circumstances that an animal is in, or situational, circumstances that an animal is in, it adheres to a different set of social, I guess, dynamics or rules. And that's my very base level understanding of fission fusion societies. There are a couple other, there are quite a few other animals actually that do this as well. I think elephants. I think a lot of primates as well tend to have this kind of a social, sort of malleable social structure, if you will, where like they are either in like these massive groups, but then they become smaller groups, depending on, like I was saying, like their circumstances, the situation, whether it's environmental or what they're up to, or time and things like that. I assume that's where fission fusion comes from. It's the idea of splitting and joining, depending on those various factors I mentioned earlier. Anyway, enough spent on that. I went on a couple of tangents there. Reproduction. In a clan of spotted hyenas, the females are interrelated while unrelated males migrate into the group. Males gain favor with females by being submissive and friendly, and once trust has been established, females may allow males to mate with them. A female will give birth to 1 or 2 cubs over which she is very protective. Male cubs remain with their mother's clan until they are around 2.5 years old, at which point they will leave and attempt to join an unrelated clan. Females remain with their mother's group for their entire lives. Interesting. Interesting. I like to think that this is what's happening over here, is like, this is like, again, I can't identify them as male or female, but like, it just looks like this guy's just trying to be super friendly, and she's just like, yo, I'm not having any of it right now. Please be gone. That's the vibe I'm getting from this image. Obviously no fun facts just quite yet. Looks like we've unlocked a lot of their stuff outside of their higher quality food. Fair enough. No interspecies enrichment and world records. I mean, they don't apply to us just quite yet. All right. Now, before we do dive in, I just want to do one last thing very quickly. Will not take me very long. It has been pointed out to me, and I don't want to forget it, but apparently I have mistakenly put my koalas, gonna do it this way, on contraceptives when I should not have. So let's go ahead and take a look at the koalas. We have Madison. Seriously, infertile still? Madison and Mila. Get you off contraceptives. Frankie and Ellie are on contraceptives because they're the children. James is looking pretty old. I think once James passes away, we'll be getting a new male, and that should help repopulate. I'm going to just unpause for a second over here. Oh, no, you know, it looks like Madison and Mila are infertile. Damn, that's really unfortunate. Okay. They're prone to... they actually require quite a bit of management, don't they, the koalas? Like, I felt like they've been the most, they've needed the most of me in terms of managing their reproduction and stuff like that. Outside of the capuchin, but I think that was just a bug. This has certainly been something. I mean, I guess I could get another male and wait until Frankie and Ellie over here become adults. Frankie especially has got decent stats, so that's promising. I want to check really quickly over here. You are how old? 3.7 years old? Wikipedia for you. Oh, they're so cute. Maturity is at 4 years. Okay, so not that long away. Not that long away, and then we'll get ourselves a new male koala and rehome some of our older koalas, I think. And that way we can keep the koalas going, I guess is the way to put it. Anyway, a mild and minor distraction. It's time to dive on in to our time lapse. I really hope this works out the way I have kind of envisioned it. I've got a couple of references that I'm looking at. Guess there's only really one way to find out. Folks, it's time lapse time. All right, folks, I am pretty excited to share today's time lapse with all of y'all because this idea in many ways, it kind of came out of, in part it came out of nowhere, in part it came out of the existing lay of the land, and that latter half is actually what really interests me in our end result over here, because it was completely unexpected. That's why I say it kind of comes out of a little bit out of nowhere. But I'm actually referencing a very major archaeological site in Zimbabwe for the entirety of this enclosure. And there's a couple of reasons why I'm doing that. Now, partly because as I was researching the potential touch points that we have with hyenas, I came across this interesting archaeological site in Zimbabwe. It's called Great Zimbabwe. It's an ancient city that we actually don't know too much about. The belief is that it is the capital of some great kingdom, but we don't know which kingdom. It's assumed that it is the seat of the throne of said kingdom, but we're not really sure. Like it's a lot of there's a lot of mystery to it, I guess, which I quite liked, and it tied in nicely with the whole hyena kind of social, I guess, not expectations, but their social norms, and the fact that they're in clans. clans and kingdoms. You know, there was a lot of like little touch points, I guess, that I really quite enjoyed. But I also read, again, in all this research, I also ended up reading that apparently in Zimbabwe, hyenas are, so they're considered to be problem animals, so they don't really have much protection, but the fact of the matter is that apparently, again, in Zimbabwe, at least specifically, it is believed that their numbers are reducing. And so despite the reduction in their numbers, they're still seen as a bit of a problem animal, and that might be the case, and as a result of that, there are no kind of protections in place for them, and I was like, all right, let's touch on that. Now, I just want to make it very clear, I'm not saying it should be one way or another. Again, I don't know how much of a problem they have been in terms of, like, I've seen some pretty... there are some stories out there that, you know, I definitely see why people would be concerned about the hyena in Zimbabwe. But beyond that, you know, I can't speak. I can't speak to it. But I thought it'd be nice to kind of like touch on that and touch on that aspect of it as well, because again, as we were reading with the you know, Zoopedia and stuff, there aren't really efforts to protect the animal because it's largely seen as to be, you know, fine. But then again, here specifically, there are maybe some things to be more concerned about. So I thought that was an interesting touch point as well. But the big draw was definitely this whole Great Zimbabwe dig site. Now, naturally, as a result of wanting to recreate something that's a bit more kind of architectural and man-made, things take a lot of time. And I realize that when I step away from doing things that are natural or... yeah, I guess natural is the term. It really does slow things down, because when I try to build something, like over here, I wanted to make this look like this, again, dig site. And the first thing I used was a bunch of those, you know, brick walls and stuff. But not only did they not slot in properly, but they also didn't quite look perfectly right. And then I was like looking around for other brick type pieces I could use, and there weren't that many. And I ended up using these breeze blocks. I was like, all right, cool. We've got this curved shape, and this curved shape actually matches this, it's funny, like, there's a round-ish high ground, like, I'm talking about the archaeological site, there's this roundish kind of high ground, and then there's a lot of, like, kind of levels with more structures on the lower levels outside of this structure on the high ground. Like, it like, the fact that it matched what we already have as well as it did, like, it wasn't perfect, it wasn't one-to-one, but the fact that it matched it as well as it did, I was just like, well, this is just meant to be. But anyway, so yeah, referencing that, it looks like they use brick, looking at some like close-up detail shots and stuff, it looks like they use brick to build the structures that were once standing there, or stones that were like cut into brick shapes. So there's a fair number of images, and it's I'm just trying to figure out exactly what the, you know, right parallel is. Obviously it was difficult to begin with, and then getting all these curved shapes right and stuff. Anyway, it was definitely an experience. It definitely slows things down, and you can see how things don't perfectly line up and stuff, and it just drives me absolutely wild. So a fair bit of time spent fiddling with that stuff. It does kind of slow us down. Again, the reason why I'm saying it slows us down a little bit is because it means that we do have more work to do next time-lapse than I'd previously anticipated, but at least now all the big time-consuming elements are sort of taken care of, and we won't get as slowed down in the next time-lapse. But I am glad that we spent the time on it today, because then, you know, now moving forward, it'll definitely come together very nicely. Anyway, I'm rambling about these bricks. I think I'm rambling about these bricks so much because they took a lot of time and effort and a lot of concentration to just get them to start looking okay. But anyway, yeah, so this site, this dig site, the other reason I wanted to reference it is because we kind of have like a parallel in, well, we have a couple of parallels actually in South America. The closest parallel I would draw is Llama Lane, because it's also kind of got like levels with stoneworks. So that was another element that I was like, oh, well, this is interesting and unexpected. So let's, you know, have that parallel between two, you know, completely different parts of the world and two completely different parts of the zoo. Still has kind of a touch point, if you will. Now the site itself is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, so it is of importance, clearly. You know, it's been deemed as an important part of, you know, our collective history I always find the heritage sites and stuff to be pretty cool inherently. Like if I ever find myself in a country that has a heritage site, I try to go out of my way to like make it to the heritage sites. But that set aside, they believe again that this was a seat of power for the local like monarch, king or queen. I'm not sure if there's any certainties about like again what kind of a society we're looking at. There's some belief that and I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation here, that it was perhaps built by the Shona people potentially. But again, it's a little fuzzy. It's a large, huge space as well. I mean, all things considered, it's a huge space. It's approximately 7 square kilometers, and supposedly the entirety of this space, which for the dig site I believe includes the high ground area as well as the low ground area, the entirety of its space could house just short of 20,000 people. I believe, I'm trying to remember the number off the top of my head. I believe it was like 18,000 or so people, approximately. Obviously, where it's all guesswork. So it's a pretty major site, and it's pretty interesting that we don't know too much about it. So yeah, I just thought it would be a fun thing to reference. It's also, if I'm not mistaken, it's kind of become a bit of a national monument in Zimbabwe, and I thought it'd be nice to kind of like touch on that as well. But yeah, so that's kind of the explanation of this space. I thought, again, we did a lot of kind of like ancient culture and folklore and mythology inspired stuff. When it comes, I think I talk about this after the time lapse, but when it comes to the hyena, a lot of the oh no, we talked about it before the time lapse, right? A lot of the folklore that has to do with the hyena is relatively negative, and I was like, okay, let's find a different angle over here. And lately we've talked a little bit about how maybe I should do something with a bit more construction to it, because it's been a while since we've done it. It's been some time since we've done it. So it all kind of like fell together pretty nicely, I think. Anyway, so again, we've got that upper floor, that upper space over there that we were just working on previously, that doubles as a bit of a food court. But we're also going to have the I think, I'm not entirely sold at this point of the time lapse, but I think that I'm going to have the space underneath the food court, if you will, act as the hard shelter for the hyenas, and guests will be able to look down into that hard shelter area, because we'll be covering it with glass, so guests will be able to look down and they'll be able to like see the animal and enjoy the view and watch them sleep, or perhaps even eat down there while they themselves are eating at those picnic tables that we put down earlier. So yeah, pretty happy with that kind of upper level space. Again, it's not done yet, obviously. It still needs a lot of work, but I wanted to move on from that because I was getting way too bogged down and focused on just that one space. Now, fortunately, we can actually put down a fair number of trees, and again, this the site that I was talking about is actually quite grassy and has a fair number of trees dotting the space. And I'm very happy to report that the hyena is actually quite okay with grass and quite okay with a decent number of trees, so we're able to again make some more references to that space. It's not like a one-to-one recreation, I want to be crystal clear, but we're trying to draw inspiration from it, and I do think that we've got a good foundation down today, and the next session when we come through for the finishing touches, it'll all come together really nicely. I do need to look at the references a bit more closely as well. There are some potentially iconic, so to speak, well, maybe not iconic, but unique, I guess, structures that I could make more direct references to. There's like, I'm not exactly sure if it is, no, I don't think it was a steel. It was like there was a tower, like a stone tower, like a cone stone tower that maybe we'll make a reference of. There's like a lot of giant boulders and stuff that we can maybe make some references to. There's stuff that I can pull from, and I'm really quite excited to draw more inspiration from the site, because again, this is a site that I didn't know existed. It's always cool to learn about new things and to like dig deeper into new things. So I'll be doing more of that as we dive into the next session as well, just to see what other references I can make to the people who may or may not have constructed it. What other, what else we know about the area and things like that. But for now, that's more or less it for the time lapse, as we get the barrier in over here and have, again, like the foundational elements put in place. Next session, we'll see this area completed, but for now, we are going to return to regular speed. All right, folks, we are back from the time lapse, and I gotta say that was definitely an interesting endeavor. I don't know why I like keep shooting myself in the foot every time I decide to work on something that's a bit more constructed. It always takes a little bit longer, and I think I feel like that's the big stopping point for a lot of these. Not stopping point, but that's the difference between an enclosure that gets finished quickly and an enclosure that takes a long time to make. Whenever I start individually placing little bricks and things like that, it starts to get obviously extra time consuming. I mean, I guess it depends. It's weird. It's like there's a difference between placing individual rocks versus individual bricks. I think I get a little too nitpicky about certain things. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Pretty happy with how far we've come along today. There's, of course, still a fair bit to do. There's still a fair bit to do, especially up over here, where I want to try and integrate the actual hard shelter for the animal. Like, I'm probably going to make this into a bit of a glass section, so guests are able to kind of sit down at the picnic benches over here, take a look at the animals as they roam around. But because it's glass, it acts as a hard shelter, and I'm hoping that the animals will actually use bedding and stuff that we put down over here. In fact, it's kind of a strange situation, because I want them to have access to up there, and I do have a little room for them to get through from. I'll probably add another one up over here, but I'm just a little nervous about them having access to the rest of the zoo through here as well. So we'll see how that works out once we actually get the hyenas in here, and then we'll get the signs and education boards and stuff like that as well going. But yeah, pretty happy with the overall end result over here. Obviously, it requires at least one more session to actually get it closer to completion, but hopefully the reference I was talking about is kind of like coming across. I have to do a bit more work in kind of making it look, I suppose, but the hope is in some ways kind of mirroring what we have with Llama Lane, to a degree, obviously not in its entirety, but to a degree mirroring what we have with Llama Lane over here, and even, I mean, to a degree, it's a blend of Llama Lane and I would say Llama. I was gonna say it's a blend of Llama Lane and Kusiuasi, because we have the archaeological feel going over there, but then you think about it, and Llama Lane is also an archaeological dig kind of a feel. But yeah, so anyway, that's the bigger picture conversation that I feel like I probably had during the time lapse. Let's go ahead and take a look at animal trading and do a couple of things over here. How many animals do we have in storage right now? Man, these saltwater crocodiles have been like impossible to trade out, haven't they? I could try and aim for like a 2K price point. I feel like that's the lowest I would want to go. For sure. Let's try that. Let's try 2K over here. Just because, like, how much more am I willing to bend on some of these, Go 2K with you as well. Yep. And with you. I really hope I wasn't intending to keep any of these. They're not labeled for it, so hopefully this is fine. And since you're silver rank, you know what? I'll go with 1,000 for you. Sure, let's do that. And we'll do, again, there's been a lot of talk about trade. Look at that. Like, we're like having a hard time shifting basically any animal. So we'll have to figure that out soon. But we are coming close to our limit, aren't we? Yeah. We'll figure it out soon. We'll do like one of those live trade sessions or something. We'll figure it out. But for now, I am looking for our spotted hyena. Spotted hyena, there you are. Hopefully some good picks are available. Come on now. Hopefully some good clicks are available. Wow. Apart from the size gene, which I feel like we could balance out. Sure, let's go ahead and pick you up. 3.7 years. Fair enough. Yep, let's go ahead and adopt you. Again, that size gene is very poor. It's really, I would say, kind of an unreasonable price, but it's the only female available, so, what am I going to do about that? Let's go ahead and drop you off at quarantine over here. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a male who hopefully has a size gene that will counteract that, I suppose, in a way, is a way to put it. Oof. That size gene is really bad, isn't it? That size gene is really bad. Oh. Wow. Wow. I mean, I guess this isn't terrible. Let's go ahead and pick up Gyasi. Sure. Hope that works out. I'll check something actually with Ogbonna over here. Come on now, there we go. Okay, they are from two different zoos. The two ones, the two that were available for conservation credits, but I don't know. I mean, the fertility over here is higher, sure, but longevity is lower. I don't know. Longevity over here is pretty bad as well. I honestly hope that was the right call. I guess we'll find out together shortly. Pop you into quarantine as well. Shouldn't take too long there. We'll have to make sure we get a vet out and everything as well. But while we're waiting for this to get done, while we're waiting for quarantine to get done, I think we can go ahead and place like our maybe some more benches. Definitely the trash cans and ATMs and all that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and unpause and pick up these trash cans before people start making their messes as they do. Pop one down here, one over here, one over here. There we go. Like there's so many trash cans over here. They better not start littering. Oh, guests are immediately unhappy. Weird. They were super happy at the start of this session. Oh, right. I see why. It's because when I adjusted this thing, it counted the animals as escaped, and even though they're not escaped right now, guests are still running away. That's been a pain. It's been an unfortunate thing to deal with, I suppose, is the way to put it. Alright, I got some bins down. Definitely will need some ATMs as well. I've been meaning to put more down for a while. I just want to mention, by the way, this concrete barrier is a placeholder. It is just temporary because we are, again, I'm like, I obviously have to maintain a bit of a sort of time, you know, like a bit of a schedule with regards to executing this stuff, making sure stuff releases on time and whatnot. So I had to call it, but I wanted to make sure obviously I can get the animal in, and to do that I of course needed the actual barriers, which I left until last this time around. But hopefully, again, just to clarify, it is temporary, and hopefully next session, as we finish off the space, we'll actually get the final look for it in. It'll be similar to this kind of, again, the old dig site vibe that we're going for. That's the overall plan, and that's hopefully where we'll end up. So we've got some ATMs up over there. Do we have any ATMs down over here? I don't think we do. No ATMs means people are not able to get easy access to money, means people are not able to spend money, which is of course not ideal for us. Let's go ahead and put an ATM down maybe over here. So this might be a suitable spot for an ATM. I don't know. Maybe down over here, actually. Uneven placement. Come on now. One over there, one over here. Excellent. Still need more, obviously. I don't know how much people withdraw at any given time, but I doubt they withdraw all that much. Put one up over there. Actually, no. You know what? Let's put one over here. It makes a bit more sense. Somewhere among... Yeah, sure. Let's do this. One over there. And one over... If I could just put it down on the other side... Come on now. Just why? Why can't I snap to here? Why does it have to be... Why do you do this to me, game? Fine, let's go ahead and put one here and one over here. Sure. There. That should do the trick. Yeah. Let's go ahead and pick up our spotted hyenas. Move them over to Habitat 39. Of course, I will need a name suggestion for that. I'll need a name suggestion for that. I do have a couple of name suggestions for some of these stores. But just to throw the opportunity out there again, we have a Chief Beef, we've got a Pip Shot Water, we've got a Gulpy Energy, we have an Information Center, and we've got a Just a Memento. So if you have any name suggestions, feel free to drop them down below, and I will be scouring through them as well. Now, I actually want to go ahead and immediately go over to Zoo, Staff, and hire, not keepers, vendors. Come on now. Okay, cool. That'll do the trick. I also want to make sure that I have my work zones set up over here. This is Africa Center, I guess-ish. Go ahead and assign you in there as well. You're also a part of Africa, not West. Africa East. There we go. Just a little bit of an overlap. Never hurt anybody, right? Come on now. Let me... Beautiful. That ought to do the trick, hopefully. Sure. Our first hyena has arrived. Oh, you know what I just realized? I didn't, telling myself I need to... Oh, they can actually jump down here. Well, that's cool. Let's go ahead and smooth this out. I want it to be a bit more normal. Why can I not? Come on now. Why is this doing this? Like, this is the kind of stuff that really grinds my gears. Nope, guess not. Alright, fantastic. Now we're neither here nor there. Beautiful. My favorite place to be. You guys having a good time? There we go. Now you can get over here. Let's see where you can escape from, because almost guaranteed they can escape from somewhere. Yeah, we got a lot of escape spots over here. Alright, alright. See, this is why I don't want them... Like, I haven't finished this area just quite yet, so I'd have to seal this off. Again, just kind of temporarily for now. I think if I block this off, we'll be fine. I'll have to figure out their, like, hard shelter and stuff. That's all understood. I'm very well aware of that. I kind of had a feeling this was going to be a two-parter, like a big two-parter. Like, a lot of the time the two-parters are like, what I would call, you know, like an 80-20 split, or like a 90-10 split, or even a 70-30 split in terms of how much I do in one episode versus the next episode. This one, I had a feeling was going to be a 50-50 split, if not like a 40-60, where like we didn't get nearly as far as I would want to this first session, but because a lot of it was going to be struggling with these kinds of adjustments with like the bricks and whatnot, you can still get through here, eh? Alright, let's go ahead and prevent that nonsense. Again, just temporary measures over here, folks. It's not going to be a permanent fixture. Bushes. I mean, they might be, but as bushes, not as a way to block access for the animal. How are you getting through? Let's see. This is all fine. You can kind of get up over here, but that's okay. It's not like you can get out there. Over here, you're blocked. Over here, are you able to get through? Here you are. Okay, so those trees are not stopping you, it seems. Very well. Very well. In that case. Go ahead and cancel all that nonsense. Now let's go ahead and build... I could just do this for now. Just do this for now. If it's all temporary, then it doesn't really... doesn't make a difference at the moment, obviously. There's also this little dip over here that I'm sure they can go through. And again, eventually they're fine to come through here. Now I want to block them off, obviously. I want to block them off until I have all this figured out, and I don't know if the entrance will be over here. Maybe we'll actually keep this blocked off and just have the entrance over here. I think it makes a bit more sense, maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Alright, so that's got to do the... Right. Go ahead and unpause. Take a look here. Yes, beautiful. Okay, excellent. Obviously, no enrichment over here. We got to get that. But I want to check as well. Plants, vegetation coverage, they're all good with. Hard shelter, obviously, there is none. They'll have a lot once we have access up over here. Terrain, they're not super happy with. We need a bit more short grass and a bit more soil. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and sort that out right away. A bit more short grass is actually excellent. Go ahead and add more short grass. A lot more short grass. Oh, they needed less soil, sorry, not more soil. Up over here, get rid of some of the rock, yeah. There we go. It also looks like a lot more like my my reference to actually have a lot of this be green. But what I do want to do, though, is I do want to make this soil. Size a bit more. I always get worried that I've like tunnel visioned away important, yeah, notifications. It's like sometimes you're focused in like this corner over here. I have a relatively large monitor, so sometimes like I'm focused, you know, like down over here, and then I'll get a notification that I'll miss. The downside of having a large monitor, I guess. Jonas, let's go ahead and send you to the trade center. Good. Cool. Back over here. Lost a llama. We have a new baby kangaroo coming. There's a lot going on. This is the thing about... honestly, at the scale that we're at, it's going to be difficult to have a tour that is uninterrupted if we hit play and watch the animals and stuff move around. There's just always so much going on. There's just always animals being born, animals dying, this, that, and the other thing is just constant. It's constant, which isn't a bad thing in a regular episode, obviously. It's just, with, during a tour, it can be problematic. There, the trade center, there we go. Olubayo, I think we might have to trade out. Abeyo has gotten old, but I think Atunya, are you able to... With Olubayo, no. Inbreeding. These are still fantastic genes. That's a lot of inbreeding. Abeyo is infertile. Sosa still has some time to make some more babies, and you can see these stats are pretty good. Alright, cool, sure, fair enough. We'll keep it as is for now then. Oh no, Hudson, already leaving behind your puppy status? Oh. Like, I know we spent a lot of time with them, but I feel like we barely spent any. Now, they are on contraceptives and stuff, so they should be okay. I want to make sure we're spending some time with our hyenas today as well, obviously. We're not done their space yet. So much to do, so little time. There we go. Try and make this look like it's been walked on, basically. Over here as well, we'll have to adjust the grain a little bit up top there. Oh, yeah. Feels a little bit like it's been, you know, actually used, I suppose. There we go. I just want to make sure that this... Come on. Is easily usable. There we go. That should be good. Alright. Enrichment items, of course, we need. Hyena... Enrichment... Get one of these over here. Try to get these guys out over here, obviously. The chew toy up over here. Hopefully a good view from up there. I need, like, there's so much to do. Education boards and everything. Prey-scented meat sack, or just prey-scented sack. I don't know why I said meat sack, but that is what it is, I guess. I do like the rotation line feeder as well. That up over here would not be a bad idea, or even up over here. Oh, yeah, no, it's not gonna fly. What about up over here? Oh, that'd be pretty cool, I think. Can you imagine being able to, like, check it out from here, just watching that action that close? I think that'd be really cool. I think that'd be really cool. Dangerous animals escaped? No. What? Seriously? I did this, like, 2 times during the, during our opening, like, tour or what have you. Why do you keep doing this to me, game? Come on. Facility broken down. Call a mechanic. I'm guessing that one of these broken facilities... Oh no, you know what? These guys don't have power. Gotcha. Right, of course. That's why they're all closed. Go and get ourselves... Go ahead and get ourselves solar panel maybe up over here to mirror the other one. We got one over there, right? So let's go ahead and put you down. Over here. And let's make sure that you are a dangerous animal escape. Africa East. Add you there. You're in a box for too long. It's like some of these... I just wish I had answers to some of these questions. Just to some of my whys, you know? Starting to get more than a little frustrated by some of these issues that didn't used to be issues. If it were always issues, then I'd blame myself. Like, okay, it's my fault. I did a thing that you're not supposed to. I broke, you know, the game, whatever. Fine, I'm okay with accepting the blame there. But this is not that. This is like, oh, it used to work, and so I built things around the fact that it used to work a certain way, and then now it's broken. This is very, very frustrating. Alright, I'll spend some time with these hyenas over here. I feel like we barely looked at them ever since they came in. They're such interesting looking animals. I take issue with people saying they're ugly. Okay, sure, they look a little different. And I'm not saying that to be polite. Yeah, okay, they look different. They don't look like your average, super friendly animal, but I don't know, they look pretty cute to me. Look at that. You gonna tell me that's not cute? You gonna tell me this is not an adorable face? You gonna lie to me like that? What a cutie. Look at that. Oh, look at the ear wiggles. Like, come on. They're like anybody else. They're so cute. How can you hate? Look at that. I don't know. I think they're just fine. I think they're just fine. Since they're sleeping, I figure I could, I guess, take this opportunity to put a couple of education boards down. Where are we? Go. Get you aligning to surface. One there, one over here, perhaps. Want to make sure that guests aren't complaining about a lack of education or anything like that. Like, we're probably gonna need power over here, aren't we? No, I guess we're good. Got more coverage than I thought. Yeah, we're good there. There, and I don't mind that we're missing a couple of donations here and there. Like, honestly, we don't. Money isn't tight. Not like it once used to be. Alright. Go ahead and get ourselves some of these speakers as well. Hopefully, yeah, good. There's some like blank spots that we can drop these in. Put you there. Spotted hyena, thank you very much. Go ahead and pop another one down over here. Yes, excellent. Actually, you know what? Let's put one down over here because then it can be a little bit louder. Oh, right, there's a solar panel right there. Forgot about that. There we go. It can be louder and it can cover a bit more space over here. We can put this one, the next one down over here. Bit of an overlap, so let's go ahead and reduce your size ever so slightly. There we go. And this bin will go ahead and move to be away from the habitat, perhaps. Here. Can we even... Let's put it on the other side of the path. And let's do the same with you. There we go. Cool. Donation bins. Trying to figure out what color to make them. Because they're kind of like... They're kind of like even lighter than this. And then the spots feel just a little bit lighter than this. Ish. Down over here. Of course it goes through the barrier, but again it's temporary, so I'm not too fussed about that. It's okay. One up over there. One up over here. Guests are coming up over here as well. Great. And again, there's a lot of vendors up over here, so guests who are hungry or thirsty and what have you will be coming up over here for sure. Up you down over there. Let's get another one down over here. And there you have it. What we've been waiting for. There we go. No power. Really? Wow. Solar panel's not close enough. Okay, fair enough. Maybe I do have to put down a wind turbine somewhere down over here or something. Make it far enough away from the guests. We'll take a look at that. That's another thing to consider. Let me get speaker down over here first. I'm gonna spend some time with these hyenas. Volume up. Cool. Let's see where we can put this turbine down. Facilities. Power. Wind turbine. And I see your negative impact, please. Guess I could put you down over here and then... You can see folks on the tracks will be upset. Momentarily, but, you know. That counts, obviously. Other option is over here, but then that'll upset people over here. Okay, okay. Raise this a bit higher. Don't know if we'll get a connection if we do that, like a path connection. There's no way we're getting a path connection from up there. Let's pop you down over here. Put a couple of trees and stuff around you. Gotta get rid of this, obviously. There you go. Already, I'm sure people are feeling better about it. Go closer than you have to. Yeah, fantastic. Beautiful. Is that 14%? We can make it smaller for sure. Go ahead and get some of these, like, bush-type things down. Obviously, they're trees, but we're making them look like bushes, is what I mean. I still don't understand the hate for the wind turbine. It's like, okay, I understand that it's a little loud, maybe, but... And? I guess is my question, like, so? Didn't it make you feel better when you see it? It's like, oh, look, the zoo is conscious about the environment and stuff like that. I don't know. 19%. Oh, would you look at that? It's raining. It doesn't rain often at Elite Zoo South, but every once in a while. Every once in a while. About 21% now. Every tree has like the slightest bit of an impact here. Good thing I like these trees. 24% now. That's close. Close, okay. More of these down. I don't want to like build something here. It feels very weird to like house it in something. Worst case scenario, I'll resort to that if I have to. I feel like we're almost there here. Almost there. Well, on this side. Get some more little bushes in here. There you go. Maybe that does the trick. That might do the trick, actually. Alright, fantastic. Good stuff. These education boards are up. Excellent. People can buy umbrellas over here. Excellent. Right on time. Definitely need some shade and stuff. This is still a problem. No surprise there. We'll figure it out. I mean, it's not affecting guests enough to actually impact overall happiness. So there's that. Where are my hyenas? Where are you guys at? Where are they? Here they are. Guess they're tucking away from the rain. This isn't a bad spot for a hard shelter either, actually, now that I think about it. It does work kind of naturally. We can build like a little outcropping into our interesting sound. A little outcropping into our structure over there and make it feel a bit more natural that way. Definitely an option. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're pretty cute. I mean, they're also terrifying, don't get me wrong. But all things considered. The sounds. Yeah, I don't know. I think they're cute. You guys both look relatively similar. This one feels like it has a bit more of a golden tint to it. I wonder if their descriptions are a little different. Here, right. Sandy fur with brown spots. Gray fur with brown spots. Okay, yeah, cool. Still absolutely love that that's in the game. I'm so glad they added that. There you go. So much better when it's actually sunny outside, too. Oh, and of course. It's only a matter of time. Oh my god. Doing okay, buddy? There we go. Love to see them interact with like some of their enrichment or something, or play or fight, like play fight or something. They're overall happy. It's just a hard shelter that I have to take care of, obviously. I will be doing that, like I said, next time. Taking a little rest over here. Fair enough. Where are you? No. Eyeing your target, maybe? Come on now. You know you want to hang out. Or maybe you just want to rest. Looks like guests are having a good time. At least they're... I'm glad they're coming to check the animal out. I was a little worried that they... I was a little concerned about that, actually. I don't know why. Maybe because they're tucked away a little bit. I don't know. Unreasonable concerns. Name of the game for me. But I'm definitely glad that they're actually coming around and checking these guys out. One less thing to be worried about. Well, cute as they are, looks like they're taking a bit of a nap. And since they're taking a bit of a break, perhaps it's time for us to take a break as well. Folks, this is where we're going to call it a session. I hope you enjoyed this one. Got a fair bit done. A fair bit more to do still. But it is good to see that they're already drawing a crowd from basically all angles as well. So the positioning of the enclosure is successful, I would say. Hopefully it'll draw donations and stuff as well. Again, we had to put some more donation bins down. We'll take care of all of that top of next session. Next session, we're basically starting right off the bat with a time lapse because obviously there's work to be done, especially getting the hard shelter in. But yeah, pretty exciting times up ahead. We'll be finishing the hyena enclosure hopefully next session. And then, you know, again, like I said, we'll do another beauty pass and then do another new animal, or we'll dive right into a new animal. Let me know what y'all think about that. But again, and as always, folks, if you've been enjoying the series, let me know. Leave a like and a comment down below. Makes such a big difference, as y'all very well know by now. Just as a reminder as well, if you want to sponsor any of the animals, again, it doesn't have to be one of the new animals. It can be one of the older animals. It can be whatever. If you want to sponsor one of the animals, or if you want to add your name to the staff, make sure you let me know. Again, if you're a channel member, leave a comment down below. I'll see that you're a member with a little icon next to your name. If you are a patron instead, then you should shoot me a private message on Patreon. Again, that's a perk for our patrons and members. If you want to become one, you aren't already one, you can either click the join button down below to become a member, or you can find links to both Patreon and channel membership in the description down below as well. On that note, a massive thanks goes out to all of the channel members and patrons who've been supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Y'all keep us alive and running smoothly. And of course, a big old thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.